Lord, as it's not by mere biological chance, according to the soul's karmic merit, by Reta Kanashaya to assume a specific body. So the first sloka it talks about, it's not just merely like according to the science says that body, like soul exists only after the body is born. But no, like this sloka, Kapila Muni is confirming that Reda Kanasha, like it takes the shelter of the father's semen before like it enters into the mother's womb. So I heard in different lectures that Upanishad talks in one way, and like also Narasimha's story, like Upanishad talks about like the soul enters into the cloud, and then through raindrops, it enters into the Mother Earth and takes the seed form. When the father eats those seeds, like it will become semen, and then it will enter into the mother's womb. That is one of the view, and the other view is Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha. So in that story, like we learned, like they entered and at the time of the evening, conception time. But like here it confirms the soul exists even before it enters into the mother's womb. And actually, the souls can take part in different four forms actually. So depending on karmic reactions of that soul in the previous body. So it takes in the form of the plants and also trees from the earth. And the second thing is germs, bugs, flies from perspiration, and birds from the eggs, and humans from the embryo. It depends on the consciousness of the soul actually. Like in Bhagavad Gita, third chapter, third text, fire covered by the smoke, and mirror covered by the dust, and what is that another thing? Prabhu, can somebody help me? What is the third thing?
Womb, I think.
Yeah.
Covered by the womb.
Yes. So the same way, like, fire covered by the smoke, it represents humans because the consciousness, soul is covered only thin level. And the next level is animals, represent the, mirror covered by the dust. And the next level is trees covered by the soul covered by the tree. Like, the consciousness is more strong. Not strong. The covering is more strong and the consciousness is thin. So that's why when people cut the tree, it won't, back, but the animals and humans too, because their conscious level is little higher compared to the trees, like that. So, and a second slide steps about the embryonic development. So first day, as we read in the introduction, like it takes first day it mixes, sperm and ovum mixes, and the fifth day it forms a bubble, and 10th day it resembles a plum. Later, it becomes a lump of flesh for humans and animals, or an egg for birds. And third sloka describes about the further growth. First month, by end of first month, head will form, and by second month end, limbs like arms and legs, and all this will form. And by third month, nails, hair, bones, sensory apertures, etc. will form. Fourth sloka notes that by 4 months, the 7 essential body elements like chill, blood, flesh, fat, bone, marrow, and semen have formed. And also, like if it is a girl, like girl particles will be developed, and a boy, if it is boy, like all these things will be developed. Hunger and thirst appear by 5 months. Movement begins by 6 months, typically to the right in males and left in females. Like even Bhagavatam speaks about before, before those days, there is no this kind of things, right? To know which body is that, like male body or female body. But by reading Bhagavatam, we can understand if the baby moves more on the right side, it is male, and if it moves on the left side, then it is female. So we can understand the agony of the child inside the mother's womb by reading, this chapter. It is very painful to know, we all went through this, but we still we forgot right after the moment we come out of mother's womb. So when we see by the influence of Maya, we forget and we start crying, and we can understand all these things by going through all these slokas. So fifth sloka talks about fetus resides in stool and urine, which is the breeding place of all kinds of worms. So because from 4th, 5th month, it starts, it feels hunger and thirst. So it start taking whatever mother takes, and then it starts urinating, also like, evacuating the wastage. So in that only the baby, I mean, we all had to stay in that farm. And small worms will take birth along with us, and also they bite us all the moment. Bitten again and again all over the body by the hungry, suffers terrible agony because of his tenderness. And the baby's skin is very tender. They just develop the skin, but it's very tender. So when the when the germs, bit the body's skin of the child again and again, so we feel so much terrible agony, terrible pain actually. He thus becomes unconscious moment after moment because of the terrible condition. So it is like, if you are outside, if some ant has bitten us or mosquito has bitten us, we react so easily. But in that position, we are so helpless. We have to just go through the pain, and we'll become unconsciousness. And Mother Nature will make sure that, we'll wake up again, and, just to pass that few months so that we'll come out and we wanted to enjoy. Like first sloka talks about like karmana daivanaitrana. So according to our previous karma, in previous body, whatever the actions that we did, and also the last thought that we had when we left the body. So Krishna says in 8th chapter, 6 sloka, yam yam vapis maran bhavam tejatente kalevaram tam tam eveti kaunteya sada bhava bhavata. Like whatever the thought comes into the mind at the time of leaving the body, so that will take our subtle body and soul and put it into the mother's womb according to the desire and karma. So 7th sloka talks about owing to the mother's eating bitter and pungent foodstuffs or food which is too salty or sour, the child incessantly suffers pain which are almost intolerable. So example, like if baby born, if we give, like spicy food, can we even give like, we don't even give food to the baby right after born. Maybe after like, 6 months or 8 months, but only like very nice food, like it's digestible. But in this if the mother, like normal mother, like who don't know like what is agony the baby goes through in the womb, so they can eat like whatever they like to eat, like eating bitter thing, pungent and spicy, like that will affect the child in the baby. It's most intolerable. So its locus is placed within the amnion and covered outside by the intestines. The child's head turned towards his belly and his back and neck arched like a bow. So actually, if you see in this picture, so the baby's head is down and towards his knees and like hands and the body, like it has to bend like ball like that. So if a grown up man or woman like put into such a condition as a child within the abdomen, completely entangled in all respects, it would be impossible for him to live even for a few seconds. So this much agony we went through inside the womb, but like we can't understand, like we forget that by the influence of the Maya, we forget that, we went through all this agony. And if we like, in one lecture we heard like, if you take a bag and we put our head inside and keep the legs outside, like how we were inside the mother's womb. So it's not possible for us to even like, stay in that condition. But by mother nature's, magic, so we were able to go through that, that phase. So the soul prays to the Supreme Lord inside the womb. So in this condition, so once the baby gets a consciousness by end of 6th month, right? So it started moving right side and left side, and it will remember the child remains like a bird in cage without freedom of movement in that position. If the child is fortunate, he can remember all the troubles of his past 100 births, and he grieves wretchedly and no peace of mind. So in that condition, I mean, in this sloka, Kapila Muni is talking about the people like, who are mundane, who are not into, spiritual. So they use their body, like for the sense gratification. And if they misuse, we'll learn about this in the coming slokas actually. So that person, like, after getting another body, after getting opportunity as a human form again, so he remembers all his past lives, and, he feels so much, sorry for that. And he grieves wretchedly and no peace of mind. So there is no peace of mind. Like when we are in sorry, like when we are in sadness, so when we are not happy, so there's no need to talk about peace also. The soul is like out of peace of mind. So 11th sloka talks about the living entity in this frightful condition of life prays with the folded hands, appealing to the Lord who has put him in that condition. So in that condition, like the magic is inside the mother's womb, Mother Nature, I don't know, like by whose mercy, like maybe by mercy of the Lord only. So we can remember our past lives and we can remember Lord also, like Paramatma, and we'll pray to him. And Bhagavatam says that Paramatma is within us inside the womb also. Because in the 22 days, the heart will, baby of the heart will develop, heartbeat will develop, and Krishna says Sarvasya Chaham Hridsanivishto. So he lives in the heart of every living being. So he is within us, and he by mercily, like he gives us memory of this also, because he is the one who has to give us memory, intelligence, and forgetfulness also. And he who gives us forgetfulness once we come out of the mother's womb also. That also he confirms in one of the slokas. So the human soul says, I take shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead only because he can give me relief from all fear, who appears in his various eternal forms and walks on the surface of the life. Because the soul is saying that I take the shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Paramatma or Vishnu or Krishna, only because he is the only can give me relief from all kinds of fear. And he appears like in the eternal form. See, like he says that ida ida hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. Whenever there is a discrepancy in the dharma, or whenever his devotees are in danger, he'll come and he'll come on his own with the eternal forms and walks on the surface of the world. Like Lord Rama, he walked all around the world, and also Krishna all around the world, like Dwaraka, and then Madhura, and then all over India, like that. So we have to remember this, like even inside mother's womb we were praying to Krishna, but like right after coming out of the womb, everybody like forgets. Only by the causeless mercy of Krishna, and then devotees, so we'll come into the association of the devotees again. So we should use this opportunity of human form to progress in the path of bhakti. 13th sloka talks about offer my respectable obeisances unto him who is here also with me, but who is unaffected and changeless. He is unlimited, but he is perceived in the repentant heart. To him I offer my respectful obeisances. So here the soul says that he can even pray to the God, and also he can praise the God. See, he's talking about like Lord. He's unaffected and changeless. So once the soul comes in contact with the material modes, it is affected by the material nature. But even though Krishna comes in the form of Rama or Krishna or any avatar, but he is not affected by the material modes and also material nature, because he says that Mama Maya, I mean Maya Dakshina Prakriti Suete Sachirachira. So under my direction, material nature works. So that means she is a servant of Vishnu. So she can't affect with her modes to Krishna. And he can be perceived only in the repentant heart. Repentant means like whoever is feeling sorry for not using the birth like in the human form, or like in any other forms, like in the previous births he misused that forms, and he misused his little freedom to enjoy for his own self, but not to like use that form to go back to Krishna. So only those people can feel the perceive the Krishna inside the heart, and he's saying that I offer my humble obeisances. So 16, 15 and 16 slokas talks about this conditioned life is due to his forgetfulness of his relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In order to get free from the threefold miseries of this conditional life, we have to surrender to him. So all this, whatever the pain we are going through, small or big or medium it might be, but like it is due to the forgetfulness of our relationship with Krishna. If we remember that, we are part and parcel of Krishna, and our constitutional position is to serve the devotees and the Krishna. So in that condition, like we go through so much suffering. So only thing is to revive our relationship with Krishna and then, come back to the path of bhakti and progress in the path of bhakti in the association of devotees and by following the instruction of the spiritual master. So Krishna is asking, so here, Bhagavad Gita, he says that, I think chapter 66, look, I think. So, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshasyami Masucha. So, leave all kinds of dharmas and just surrender to me. I'll take away all your sins and then, I'll give you moksha. So we have to have faith in the Krishna's words, and we have to, I mean, sometimes when we know theoretical knowledge, but when we come into the practical way, generally, we'll be carried away by our mind thoughts, but we forget to remember Krishna. But we have to practice, remembering Krishna's words and Krishna, and then, take the shelter of Krishna in that situation so that we can easily come out that situation. And actually, we forget Krishna, and we always try to enjoy ourselves, but Krishna is always within our heart and always try to fulfill our desires as much as possible. First, he wants us, but if he still wait, if you see so many, things which are not happy to hear. So for them also Krishna wants before, and if they if the kid want to put the hand in the finger in the fan, so he says we tell him it's not good, it will hurt your finger, but still the baby insists. Then they switch off the fan and will let him put at the end of when the fan is about off, like that. Krishna also wants the people, but still out of our eagerness and out of our desires, we try to do so many things which are not good for us. But still, he has so much anxiety to take us back to back to Godhead by whenever there is a situation, whenever there is opportunity, and he'll come and he'll show his pastimes through actions and to attract us and to take us back to Godhead. So the causeless mercy of the Supreme Lord and the spiritual master. So my dear, 18th sloka talks about, my dear Lord, by your causeless mercy, I am awakened to consciousness. There is no way to express my gratitude but to pray with the folded hands. So the soul is praying that, by your causeless mercy, because Krishna is there in the heart also. So he by his causeless mercy, so I am awakened to consciousness. There is no way to express my gratitude. So when we were in the womb, so we are so much gratitude to Krishna. But right after coming back, by the by the influence of Maya, so we'll forget and we'll continue in our journey to enjoy whatever the desires we had in our previous birth and results of karmic reactions. These two things, for those two things we'll live. But the father and the there is a sloka in Bhagavatam, father, mother, teacher, and also relative, they shouldn't be take that part unless they are responsible to make them deliver from this birth cycle of birth, death, and these four things, and they have to give the information that whatever they given in Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, and then help them to again revive their connection with the Supreme Lord. 19th sloka. I offer my respectable obeisances to the Supreme Personality of God, who blessed me with this body in which I can control my senses and can understand my destination, and by whose grace I can see him within and without. So now he is realizing that he remembered in previous sloka we read, right? So he remembered whatever that hundreds of lives he went through. He remembers all those things, and he is so much thankful for Krishna for giving this human form, because the covering of the soul is very less, and consciousness is higher compared to the other living beings like animals, birds, and reptiles and plants. So he's thankful for giving this body, because through this body he can control his senses, and also he can understand his destination, and by whose grace I can see him within. So he can see within him and also without him also. 20th sloka talks about, therefore, my Lord, although I am living in a terrible condition, I do not wish to depart from my mother's abdomen to fall again into the blind well of a materialistic life. So soul here realizes that, once I come out of the mother's womb, so I'll be, controlled by the mother nature, and I'll forget about you. So I don't want to come out of my mother's womb. So here we can see the example of Sukadeva Goswami. Sukadeva Goswami also is a realized soul, and he's son of Vyasadeva. So he also knows that when he comes out of mother's womb, so he knows that he'll be influenced by Maya, and he'll forget the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his eternal position. So he didn't want to come, and he stayed in his mother's womb for 16 years actually. And when Vyasadeva went to Krishna and then requested Krishna to come and told him to come out, then when Krishna came and he promised that mother nature won't control you, won't influence you, then only he came back. He came out of mother's womb and he just walked in that same body. So there are so many stories we can learn from Bhagavatam. And 21st sloka talks about, simply by keeping the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu in my mind, I shall be saved from entering into the wombs of many mothers for repeated birth and death. So he understood, the soul understood that just by keeping the lotus feet of Vishnu, so in his mind, so he can be saved from entering into the wombs of many mothers for repeated birth and death. Here, like example of this sloka is like, by remembering the lotus feet and also taking shelter of the lotus feet. There's a small story about the, fishes in a small pond and the fisherman. So daily fisherman will come, and fishes will be so much scared. Like today, they might be their last day like that. But they see one small little fish safely moving without fear, without scared, and like happily living. So they were looking at that fish, and after some days, they got they all met in one place and they talked like, we'll go and ask that fish how he's happy, how he's not scared. So what is his strength? So they all went and asked him, and it says like what they asked that little fish, what do you do when the fisherman comes and how you're not scared? And this fish spoke that, so when the fisherman throws the net, he throws the net into the water, but not under his feet. So I'll go and take the shelter of that fisherman's feet. So the same way we have to take the shelter of Krishna's lotus feet, and the net represents Maya. So Maya won't, Yaha Krishna Taha Nahi Maya Radhikara. So where there is Krishna, there is no, power of Maya. So net won't touch the fisherman feet the same way. Net won't, Maya Krishna as in the previous slokas. The same way, if we take the shelter of Krishna, the same Maya becomes Maya. It will help grow in the path of bhakti. She act the same Yogamaya. Yogamaya is in the spiritual world, acts into Mahamaya in the material world. Whoever forgets Krishna, her duty is to give the kinds of problems, Adhyatmik, Adidavik, and Adi Bhautik. So like problems caused by the body and mind, problems caused by the nature, problems caused by the other living entities. So whoever takes shelter of Krishna, so they can be, it's not like, problems will be stopped. It is like in one of the lectures, classes by Prabhuji's only, I forgot whose name, who was that. So it is like, raining incessantly, and we have to go out in that time. So rain won't stop, problem won't stop. But the thing is, have umbrella, strong umbrella, you can go and finish your work like that. Problems, material world and the modes, three modes and the problems are all like that. Heavy rain. Taking Shri Krishna is like is the umbrella, so we don't get affected by the problems. It's like perceiving that perception will change. The undesirable conditions of the born child. So 30 slokas talks about, but why is it that helps perturbation people propels him forth and his face turned downward so that he may be born. The child comes out with great trouble and deprived of memory due to severe agony. So that because consciousness will be developed from the sixth month, I think, 7, 8, 9 months. All these like slowly they push the baby towards the down of the embryo, and then at the end, like he has to come out from that that position, thing is very difficult. So, and sometimes baby might come, dead or almost dead. So because the pain is, severe, that's what, in the previous days, like when there is no doctors and hospital, so many cases we get. Birth to a child is like again rebirth to the mother, because she has to go through so much. Sometimes mother might be died, and sometimes, child also might die. Bhagavad Gita, the Lord points out that a person who is serious about advancement in spiritual consciousness should always consider 4 points of birth, death, disease, and old age. So generally we think about the small problems, but we forget that, there are 4 big problems, and people think that we can't solve them, so that they don't even think about that. That's like Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. So who are like, they want to advance in the spiritual path, they have to be, take this human form so seriously, so that they don't die again. They don't take birth again and go through this disease and old age. 24th sloka talks about the child thus falls on the ground, smeared with stool and blood, and plays just like a worm germinated from the stool. He loses his superior knowledge and cries under the spell of mind. So it's like, when we were in mother's womb, so we were covered by the blood, urine, and stool. So when we come out of mother's womb, so we are all smeared with the stool and blood. And also, whatever we prayed to Krishna in the mother's womb, whatever we remember about previous lives, agni and everything we forget right after we come out, and when they sprinkle water. And that is the mother nature's duty. So if we remember previous births and everything, so we might, there are so many cases we heard, like, they remember their previous birth and they go to the place where they born and the people like with whom they grown up. And if we remember all these things, so we don't have enough time to, do bhakti and also understand, why we are going through these many problems and where is the end. So we don't think about this. So we'll be engaged in the family, these things only. So Mother Nature, she makes us to forget everything, and we'll cry like anything. So when we born, actually yesterday I wanted to see this. I recorded Hamsi's first cry. We were hearing, Danvin was asking why Hamsi was crying like anything. So that means we also cried like anything, but we forget. So on 25th sloka talks about the child is given to the care of persons who are unable to understand what he wants. He falls into undesirable circumstances. Like example, um, when the baby cries, mother or the father might think that he might be crying because of hunger. But we don't know that, like, he was bitten by some ant or something. We can't even express our pain when we were, right after born. And the poor child is incapable of scratching his body to get relief from his itching sensation, to say nothing of sitting up, standing, or even moving. So when something like, when we feel itching, so now we can scratch, we can do anything, we can move. But when we were in the baby's position, so we can't even scratch. We don't have that much power to do, and we can't turn on our own. Also, it takes, I think, around 3rd or 4th month to even turn around. And we can't sit also. I think 6th month or 5th month we start, sitting, I think. And standing, we can't. Standing, I think, maybe after 9 months. But right after birth, we can't do anything. Just lie down like that. In his helpless condition, mosquitoes, bugs, other germs bite the baby whose skin is tender. The child, deprived of his wisdom, cries bitterly. See, when some mosquitoes bite us, so immediately we react and, we'll try to protect ourselves. But the baby, like, can't do anything instead of crying, because he has no power to do anything. In boyhood also, he suffers pain due to desires, due to ignorance. He becomes angry and sorry. So when the babyhood, like, we are like this. And when we grow little bit and our desires also grow, and due to ignorance, we forget that, like, what we went through. And when we desire something, when we don't get that, and then we'll get angry and we'll feel sorry. That's also said in Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter. So when the desires comes due to the passion, mode of passion, and when it won't have, the anger will come due to the ignorance. results of misusing little freedom, they were like, using misusing our freedom is also like, considered as Maya. The 31st sloka talks about he is bound by ties of ignorance and fruitive activities. He performs various actions which cause him to be subjected to repeated birth and death. So due to ignorance and fruitive activities, so we forget our various actions which cause him like, in previous life we did so many actions that caused us to take birth again, but we forget them because due to the ignorance. 31st look again associates with the path of unrighteousness influenced by sensually minded people. He again goes to hell. In the previous chapter, Mataji covered like, Tamishra and Anda Tamishra, like who misuse their life and they just live to enjoy their senses with, acquiring more money and enjoying the movement. They all go to the hells. And also, after getting human form again, if we misuse our freedom by taking the association of unrighteousness and influenced by sensually minded people, then again we are, making our path to hell for this. Comes divide of truthfulness, cleanliness, gravity, spiritual intelligence, shyness, austerity, fame, forgiveness, control of the mind, control of the senses, fortune, and all such opposites. So when we take possession of that kind of people, so we lose truthfulness, and also like, we don't like to be clean. And mercy, like, people generally they eat like all these, they do these four things, right? Meat eating, illicit sex, gambling, and intoxication. So these four represents like cleanliness and mercy, truthfulness, and also cruelness and gravity, spiritual intelligence. We lose spiritual intelligence and shyness, austerity. And there is no the common people like who are grossly engaged in these four things. And there's no forgiveness also. And there is no control of mind, like, whatever the mind says, and they like to do because their level of intelligence is very less, and the intelligence can be, sharpened by reading Shastra. They have no touch of Shastra, so it's very, painful in their life. But they think that they're enjoying, but they're making another life to go through the results of, these actions. And control of the senses. There is no control over the senses also. Whatever their eyes say, ears wanted to hear, they go to movies and they go to like, see whatever they want to, and they eat whatever they like to. Like that. 34th sloka. One should not associate with a coarse fool who is bereft of the knowledge of self-realization, dog in the hands of a woman, creation of Maya. So this woman, like normal woman who is not God consciousness, she is represented of the Maya, creation of Maya. So there are examples like Brahma when he created, what is that, like a daughter in the form of, I forgot what we call it. He take the form of a stag and he ran after her. And all his kids, sons are like, we are rishis, and they said like, it's not befitting you. So then he leaves the body and takes again. So that's a different story. And even Lord Shiva was like, captivated by Vishnu's avatara Mohini. Because Krishna, I mean, this Maya is an expansion of Krishna. So it's just like, one of the Shaktis of Krishna. And then when he himself comes as a, lady form, so it's more attractive than anyone who is in this material world. So Shiva, like Shiva also like, attracted by Mohini avatar. And also Vishwamitra, he did tapasya for like thousands of years. I think 4 or 5 when we Ramayana, Mahabharata, and all these things, we can understand like, he did so many times like tapasya. One time to get the cow from the Vasamuni, and again like he misused his powers to create this the Shankasura for one of the king. And again, 4th time or 5th time, this Menaka was sent by him. And then finally he decided, I should not be. I mean, he realized, and then he tapasya, and then he was successfully became, and then he felt shamed of, what and all he did with Vasishta Muni and everything. And Vasishta Muni himself, comes and, recognizes him as a Brahmarshi then. So he wanted that position, Brahmarshi, before he was granted as Rajarshi. So like that. Even Vishwamitra fell down due to Menaka. And then demigods and not demigods, demons actually, they were also like, they lost their sense, and they, even though they understood that, she is on the side of demigods, and they were not able to resist, to listen to her. So that is the power of Maya. 36 and 37 slokas. Brahma being captivated by the charms of his daughter. Okay, these stories I talked about, the same thing. So only by engaging in the service of Madana Mohana, one can curb the dictates of Madana Archibald. So example, these are the examples from Ramayana and Bhagavatam, but we can hear one more example from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Haridas Thakur. He's a pure devotee. He's though Brahma's expansion only, but here, he acted as a pure devotee by chanting almost 3 lakhs names per one day. And when prostitute comes to, attract him, but he said, I was chanting. So once I'm done with my chanting, then I can help you. So the same way, 3 days he did continuously chanting, even in the middle night also. Then she became a devotee, because by hearing the Lord's names from the pure devotee's mouth, so even one can be purified. So she also be purified. She got purified and she became a devotee also. But this can happen only by with the service of Madan Mohan. So we can remember Krishna, because Krishna is so attractive, Madana Mohan. So even who was attracted by Cupid. So he was like thousands and unlimited times more beautiful than Cupid. So when we remember Krishna, especially I heard, read somewhere, when we see the eyebrows of Krishna, it will help us to come out of this attraction of Maya. So talking about material women, but not women in our movement. So actually, there is one example. I heard about Yamuna Devi. In every temple in the morning, early morning, the Govindam Adi Purusham is played, sang by Yamuna Devi and other devotees. So they play that in every temple. So in one of the temples, the Brahmachari said it's like we after hearing this chapter, they were saying that we should not hear from a lady voice. It is like we are somewhat distracting or something. Then Prabhupada said, I talked about not only this example, one more example. In one temple, other brahmacharis, they started looking at the women devotees like, disgusting. They all went to Prabhupada and, complained. And Prabhupada said, I was not talking about our movement women. I was talking about the normal women. These women are not in the material platform, but in the spiritual platform. And with the Yamuna Devi case, the Prabhupada said, you even get purified and also get liberated by taking her association. So she is in the transcendental platform. And Prabhupada used to make Yamuna Devi and other matajis also to sing in front of huge crowd also. So when we come into the platform of bhakti, so there is not completely, but less importance to the lady form or human form. Men form, but will be in the form of the spirit soul. And Prabhupada, okay, like this. But when both woman and man, they engaged in the service of Krishna, so then even their family also will be happy rather than engaged in their own senses. 38 sloka. Understand the mighty strength of my Maya in the shape of woman. When one is attracted by the transcendental beauty of Radha and Krishna, Madan Mohan and Mohini, he is no longer attracted by material feminine beauty. So this we spoke about Haridas Thakur. Persons who are in this material body existence can give up womanly attraction if they are attracted by the Supreme Brahman. Such was the case with the Haridas. Yeah, Haridas Thakur, we already spoke this sloka. He has to create such. Okay. So how about Krishna? So general men attracted by women, that's what is spoken by Kapilmuni. But what if Krishna wanted to be attracted by women? So no material woman can attract him, because he is not any material. So in that case, he has to create such a woman from his own energy. That woman is Radharani. It is explained by Goswamis that Radharani is the manifestation of the pleasure potency of the Supreme Personality of God. So it's like, everybody feels happiness in our heart. So Krishna also has a pleasure potency. So when that pleasure potency comes out and take a form, she is called Radharani. Thus, the tendency to be attracted by womanly beauty is natural because it exists in the spiritual world. But in Kesi, both of them are eligible to get out of material entanglement and reach the abode of Krishna. But in general, a man has greater opportunity than a woman to get out of the material clutches. 39 and 40. One who aspires to reach the culmination of yoga should never associate with an attractive woman. She is just like a blind well covered with grass. This is for the common people, like Kapila Muni is saying. For a man, as a result of attachment to a woman in his previous life, he has been endowed with the form of a woman and vice versa. So this sloka, like Prabhupada was saying, the man whoever is attached to his wife due to her service or beauty or other qualities, so he will remember her at the time of death, and then he will get a form of woman. So there is an example in our movement also, some Ratnavali Mataji or something, names I forgot. So that Prabhuji, he remembered that Mataji, whoever helps him in the altar. So I mean, this is not a perfect example for this, but like, example of remembering. Like, so he remembered that Mataji and he met with an accident, and then he took that form of exactly almost similar like that Mataji's form. And then he remembered his previous birth and went back, and then he completed his progress of bhakti in that form also. But he was Krishna conscious, so he remembered that and he continued to progress in the path of bhakti. So this is one of the examples. So, and also women who serves him, faithfully and happy for given by husband, like all these things, home, jewelries and dresses and everything. So she also serves him faithfully, and then she also remembers him at the end of the life, and then she gets a form of man also. I heard in one of the lectures also, a woman who faithfully serves her husband gets a man body in the next life. But that is for the people like who are attached to their sense gratification, but not for the people who are serving together Krishna. Changing the material body, which is called death. So we can understand materially and also spiritually, like, what is the meaning of the death. 42nd sloka. A woman should consider her husband, house, and children to be the arrangement of the external energy for her death, just as the sweet singing of the hunter is death for the deer. So the hunter will, sing very sweet song to attract the deer, but that is not to, make it happy, but to kill it. Like the same way for women, for like normal woman who is not on the platform of bhakti. So for her, the husband, house, and children, arrangement of the external energy for her life, because she will be always engaged in thinking about them and serving the house and husband and kids and enjoying her whatever like facilities given by husband. She's always entangled in those kind of activities, and she won't get time to or opportunity to think about why she took birth, and then why she's going through all these things and what will happen to her at the time of death. General people, they don't want even to heard about the word death or leaving the body. They'll plan generally for the retirement, after retirement, but they don't plan for after retirement of the body. They think about the retirement of the work. But if the person who is in the path of bhakti, they will start preparing for the exam of the last day of this body. That's the difference. So if the attachment is transferred to Krishna, both of them become Krishna consciousness, and then the marriage is very nice. 43 sloka. Living entities engaged in the material body, he is called Jiva Bhuta, and one gets a suitable body with a Jiva Bhuta, and okay, he is freed from the material body, is called Brahma Bhuta. By the grace of Krishna, gets a seed of devotional service. Yeah. A living entity who is always engaged in the material body activities like eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, he is called Jiva Bhuta. But when he is freed from the material body, like when he knows that he is a spiritual soul and part and parcel of Krishna, and his duty is to serve Krishna and his devotees. When he acts in that way, then he is called freed from the body and also called Brahma Bhuta. It happens by the grace of Krishna. So one will get the seed of devotional service. But that seed should be given by the spiritual master, who is the external representation of Krishna. One gets a suitable body with a material mind and senses according to his fruitive activities. Like we discussed in previous slokas, we understood that we'll get the present body due to our previous karmas and desires, fruitive activities. When the reaction of his particular activity comes to an end, that end is called birth. So when a particular type of reaction begins, that beginning is called birth. So here is definition given by Kapila Muni of the death and also birth. So we are here to go through the reactions of particular activity. When that particular activity reaction comes to an end, so that is called death. So when another particular reaction will start, so will be put again into the another mother's womb. So that is called the birth. So newborn in rich or pious family who carries pious activities. Example, Narada Muni was the son of maid servant in 1 million. In the next millennium, he becomes a great sage. So Krishna says, so the difference between normal life and spiritual life. I mean, the person who is leading spiritual life, normal person, like they'll get the next body according to their desires and karmic reaction. But in Krishna consciousness, they were not guaranteed. In the previous, I mean, normal people, they were not guaranteed whether they get the human form. But in the Krishna consciousness, Krishna is confirming and giving promise that Neha Vikrama Nasosti Swalpamapiyasya Dharmasya Trayate Mahatava. Like, even if you do very slight amount of devotional service, you are guaranteed to take birth again. As in a rich family or pious family, like, rich family means like Vaishyas, because Vaishya people, like they do a lot of business. And pious family means like Brahmins or like Vaishnavas. So example like, and soul will be taking birth in 1 millennium and the reactions will be continued to the next millennium also. Example is Narada Muni. In 1 millennium of Brahma, he served, the rishis for 4 months. And then in the next millennium, he became the great sage Narada. Like that, like him also, we also go through that like reactions of our previous actions in 1 millennium. One set of actions we might be taking birth in 1 millennium, and for different set of reactions of previous actions we might take birth in the another millennium also. So that long it will be continuing. But if we take up the process of bhakti, path of bhakti, then we are sure to take birth in these two families and we will advance in that, whatever we left in the previous life. 45 and 46. When the physical body, where perception of objects occurs, is incapable of perceiving, that is known as death. One begins to view the physical body as one's very self, that is called birth. Here is one more meaning and definition of death and birth. So through this physical body, we perceive the objects. But when this body is incapable, like we want to eat, but body won't, body is not in a position to take and eat and digest. When we want to see, the eyes won't work. When we want to hear, like in the old age, it won't work. Like, so we can't hear. So when the body is not cooperating for the desires of the soul, and then it stops. So that's what it is called, like leaving body. So I heard in one of lectures or somewhere. So as long as this body, gives the results of like usable to enjoy the desires of the mind, the soul. So that long we can stay in this body. So when it is not usable, like example, like in the coma, so people like they might have many desires, but they can't do any action because the body is not in a position to do. So sometimes, like they have to move on to the next body. So in one of the lectures, Prabhupada said, death is nothing but like every night we dream, and a certain body, along with the certain body, soul goes somewhere and roam back and come back in the morning. But when the body is not in a position to, not in a usable position, then soul can't back. So that is also called death. So one begins to view the physical body as one's very self, that is called birth. So after taking birth, so we again go through like, see the people and we think that this is my body, my father, my mother. So it's again like, starting another journey. So it's called birth. So Bhagavad Gita 4.9 talks about like one who knows the transcendental nature, my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode of abode, O Arjuna. So Janma Karma Cha Me Divyam. So whoever knows my birth and also activities from a bona fide spiritual master as it is. So after leaving this body, so Tekva Deham Punajanmanaiti, Mameti Suvarjana. They'll come back to me, but not, they don't take birth again in this material world. But regarding this, there are two things are there actually. So once the soul is, ready to go back to Godhead, he won't go directly to go. He goes to the place where Krishna is taking, another form, like another Leela. Like here, like Krishna came 5,000 years in this universe. In another universe, like continuously he'll be taking, he'll be doing all his pastimes in one or the other universe. So the soul, he goes as the people like these whoever take birth in the Edu dynasty, they are from, upper planetary systems. So in one of the Bhagavad Gita slokas says that after finishing the after finish, our activities, complete our bhakti in material world, go to Swargaloka, enjoy there, and then come back. So people like who are like half done or like, little done bhakti, they'll go, they come and take part in Krishna Leela also. Like that, we will like whoever is ready to go back to Godhead, they will go and take part in Krishna's pastimes, and then along with Krishna, it is like training, like before getting the job, we'll get training, right? Like that. So we'll go and uh, go with you know. 47. Understand the soul's true identity. One should live in the world without attachment, and focus on spiritual purpose. So Rupa Goswami advises that if one renounces anything which could be applied in the service of Lord and does not use it for that purpose, that is called Falgu Vairagya. Everything belongs to him, right? Everything belongs to Krishna. Insufficient and false renunciation. There is insufficient or false renunciation. Everything belongs to Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, everything can be engaged in the service of the Lord. Nothing should be used for one sense gratification. That is real renunciation. So Nirbandhe Krishna Sambandhi. So everything belongs to Krishna. So everything can be used in Krishna service. Like Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, he was a sannyasi, but he was not supposed to travel in the cars, or he was not supposed to use coat, right? But still, like he used all those things so that a car, he used to ride in, go in the cars, and also used to wear jackets so that he can meet higher officials, and also he can share that knowledge with them, and with them, like so many people get connected to Krishna consciousness. So he used for the sake of Krishna, not for his own sense gratification, like that. Nor should one unnecessarily increase the necessities of the body. We should be satisfied with whatever is offered and supplied by Krishna without much personal endeavor. So we should spend our time executing devotional service in Krishna consciousness. That is solution to the problems of life and work. So we should be, Kapil Muni is saying that we should be happy and with whatever Krishna has given, and whatever the necessities of the body, should not endeavor more. The remedial measures can be understood when one associates with person. Uninterrupted service, having surpassed the stringent laws of material nature, is understood to be situated in Brahma. So this really, like we have the association of the pure devotee. Pure devotee means liberated soul who always engages in the uninterrupted devotional service. So every action that he performs with his senses is for serving Krishna and pleasing Krishna, not any action for him. So in uninterrupted devotional service. So with that kind of people, like if we take the association, then we can also progress, like a green leaf, uh, next to the fire, so it will also get qualities of the fire, like that. We will also get purified with their purity, and then we will also progress in the path of God. Then this is the service of the highest Lord, Radha Krishna Sita Rama, he understood to be on the platform of liberation. So When we engage our services in any one of the forms, then we are a platform of liberations. 48th sloka. With true spiritual understanding, devotion, and detachment from bodily identity, a person should use their intelligence to recognize the temporary nature of the body and the world. This helps them remain unaffected and indifferent to material concerns. So this is what we have to be always to remember about our nature of the body and world and progress in part of body. So this island and the key learnings is the chapter details very clearly embryonic stages and from a spiritual perspective, emphasizing the anatomical minds and inner nature. Self begins while still in the womb and forms the soul to seek divine mercy. True spiritual progress requires recognizing the soul beyond the body, not merely following bodily impulses or identities. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So is there any questions? Looks like I took more 7:20. So I've done. Is there any questions and comments?
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much. It's a very eye-opening chapter that how we should, what all we are going through before. So I think you took us through all this process, and at the end giving us the key learning that we all should take this life seriously in this service to God and go back to God at this life itself. Otherwise, I don't know what all we have to go through again. So much pain, so much miseries. Very, very enlightening chapters.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Anybody has any question or comments?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandal Pranam.
Pranam.
Very, very beautiful class. You're talking with such an ease. No, it is like hitting on the head with so many, I don't know, numbers. Very, very beautiful. Thank you so much. I mean, I have a question. I know that it's, I don't know how to answer that, but even after when the child is going through so much of miseries, why don't Lord give us a little bit of remembrance of that, once you are born after from the womb of the mother, so that we can continue to remember the Lord and then continue with the devotional service. After 100% we are only in Maya.
Yes.
Why we don't get this opportunity? I don't know.
Prabhu, can I have
I don't know if last session I told this, or I'm not sure which of the session. I was sharing that one of the survivor of Ahmedabad flight incident. He's the only alone survivor. There was a news that every night he picks up, he cries, he shouts. There was like that he's going through the lot of mental agony because of this pain. So now you remember. Now you just think, if we remember whatever pain we have gone through, and I think Mataji touched base that point in between also when she was saying that when we remember our previous births, there are so many incidents. You can go on YouTube where reincarnation videos are there. So those people are not able to live any life because they are not able to live this life. They are not able to live previous life also because they want to go to their previous. I remember one of the video in some person in Punjab. He's a child. He's some 4 years, 5-year-old child. He's remembered his previous life. His parents took him to this thing. His wife is some 45, 50-year-old lady. And this boy is going, some 5 year, 6-year-old child is going and telling, oh, you are my wife, where are my children? Children are already some 20, 25-year-old children who say, oh, these are my children. You imagine how much painful it would be that you are not able to lead a life. On the other hand, what mercifully Krishna does is that he gives us all the spiritual opportunities in our life, specifically in the human form of life. Even if those are not devotees, you go and ask them, they also have the opportunities given to them. They meet somebody, they go to some temple, they So it is not that, opportunity is not given, but I think Krishna mercifully gives the opportunity in a very, positive way, that we don't suffer, because this pain which we have gone through, is very, very, it would be very, very difficult to live with that pain. You just imagine even the mental problems which we all face. If some of the relatives, he says something, we will interpret, oh no, you know what he was saying, he meant this way, he wanted to put me down, he wanted to. So mentally is very difficult to conceive. So our subtle body, and those impression remains. It's not that that impressions are gone. That's why many a times we are born with the some many fear for water, fear for fire, fear for in different height, fear is there. So those are things, those impression Krishna mercifully gives us so that we avoid this thing. But I think the Krishna is giving us that free will to take up the spiritual path willingly, because if forcefully he does, I'm sure we'll just take it for he will will not take it very in a positive way. So I think it is it's a mercy of the Lord that we are forgetting, but He is giving us mercy in the form of Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, and these people, they keep coming in our lives. Association, and they opportunities are given. So I think that way Krishna very like a like for example, our child has gone through some traumatic experience, right? So what we do, we just try to make them feel, oh, you forget about that, but you worry about this now. Whatever is present, you do this. Forget about this. Sometimes child, many children, they go through some traumatic experience, and then parents' duty is to make them ensure that they are not remembering that traumatic experience, but they still have learnings. So I think Krishna mercifully does that, that he keeps gives us learning. He is giving, see, such a beautiful Lord himself is coming in the form of Kapil Dev, and whatever 32 chapters we have read, so beautifully. This is one of the most beautiful section of Srimad Bhagavatam, I believe. At least personally, I feel that it's one of the most beautiful section of Srimad Bhagavatam, where devotional service is glorified so much, and Lord is explaining that what a human form of life, what we all go through, and I personally feel that it's a blessing in disguise that we don't remember our painful this thing, but at the same time, Krishna is giving mercy through these Guru Sadhu Shastras and giving us opportunity to give every human beings in whatever form they are, to give them opportunity to upgrade their consciousness. So Krishna also knows that this person, because of their karmic reactions, they will be under the effect of modes of material nature. So everybody, even if gets the opportunity, they are not going to take it in that positive spirit. So easily, I was I don't know how many of you have seen this, that Mahavatar Narsimha movie's director, that Prabhu, he was in one of the short has come in some of the WhatsApp groups. So that Prabhu was saying that I have gone through many various kind of uh, scriptures from various organizations, but when he read Bhagavad Gita by Srila Prabhupada and Bhagavatam, he got so much enlightened, and he was telling that humbly he was accepting that he had many bad habits, but in one shot he was able to in one night he decided that from today I'm not going to do any of those things, and he said that, he says that my life is transformed by Srila Prabhupada. So that's the mercy of and we see this now. This movie is so beautiful. This depiction of lords. I don't remember, rarely we have seen such kind of depiction of lords. This thing, and which is liked by everybody, even non-devotees a lot. So so this mercy is available to all of us in the form of Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, and devotees. They keep coming in our life. They keep guiding. We read the scriptures. It's up to us. So we have to develop, as Bhagavad Gita says, that Trayaguniya Vishya, they come above the modes of material nature and then accept the devotional service. I'm not sure if that answers your question, Prabhu.
Absolutely. It's very clear. When the answer comes, it's very, very convincing. But fools like me immediately get back into the original mode, continuously. This question comes in all the time. I'm in my hometown. Yesterday, my neighbor passed away. Old lady, 90 years old. We were all attending the whole day funeral function, everything. So while we are in the function, I'm very convinced, oh my God, this is all the life. So they were, they have a system, all they are Hindus, they put the body in the earth only after digging a big, this thing. So we were all there. So when the body was moving in, I was remembering that's all, because she was a very, very close associate of us from childhood. Very kind lady also, and suffered many, many things also. So while we are in this situation, we remember and understand that's all life is. But the moment you are out, you are forgetting it immediately. That's the unfortunate situation. Thank you, Prabhuji. Very convincing, clear answer.
Certainly, that's why at least all of us who have got this opportunity, and we know the importance. We have to constantly keep reading. I remember this chapter we have read many times, but again we forget, as you are saying. But yes, maybe we should take that seriously. At least with these opportunities, we can realize that when this chapter explanation was going on, it was, as you were saying, it was hitting. Oh my God, I've gone through all this, and I don't want to go through all this again. That pain of taking birth, pain of the material life, and again dying, and Mataji was saying that a person who is not completing will have to, maybe we had the benefit that wherever we stop, we'll continue from there. But, opportunity is lost. And, the kind of Kali Yuga is progressing. We see how bad it is moving, outside the world. I'm not sure if we take birth again and come, even if we want to practice bhakti, will we be able to practice or not? It is becoming so difficult to practice bhakti. Giving all the temptations we have out around us. Phone you take in our hand, we just get carried away by watching different things. Internet is there. People we associate, whatever we try. Mataji was explaining that we should not associate with, but unfortunately we work in the outside world. The money we need. So we talk to those people, and after sometimes there are some instances where they will make us feel that, oh, you are living a miserable life, we are living a very happy life, and we also get carried away. Oh yeah, correct. Although in the deep of our heart, we know that we are. So this happens. Only option is that Nityam Bhagavata Seva, Nityam Hari Katha. We should Shranvatam So Katha Katna Punya Shravana Kirtana. So again and again when we hear, so all the anarthas of the heart, they slowly go away. And yes, it's a process, and it's a different for each individual, because conditioning of each individual is different based on our previous lives. So, but by constant endeavor and no way we should leave the association of unity. Nitai Priya Mataji yesterday had shared one Radheshyam Prabhu's lecture. I would say that if you have not heard that lecture, very practical, not a very hi-fi lecture, but that lecture clearly defines how we should be devotees. Very, very practical lecture. If you have not heard, please spend some time, because the devotee relation is also one of the important aspects of our bhakti, where we struggle in interacting with other devotees. And that is most important aspect of our bhakti as well, because these are the devotees who are going to take us back. When I'm dying, these devotees are going to come and chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra in my ears, ensuring that I don't remember anything else, only I remember Krishna while leaving the body. So the devotees are very, very important aspect of our life, and we should not in any way, lose this association of devotees because of our wrong conditioning, because of our, our false ego. Prabhu was emphasizing so much on false ego that, we should not have. And even day before yesterday, I had shared a small snippet by Mahavara Prabhu, talking about His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Guru Maharaj, that how he's devoid of false ego. And there was a link in between where the whole lecture was there. And he was sharing that how Maharaj is out of, he has no false ego. He told many incidents where he went and begged for forgiveness for small instances, being a sannyasi, senior sannyasi in his God. So, the point is that, the devotee association is our, treasure. Even if we don't like them, even if we feel, oh, he's like that, he's like that. But remember, this is the mercy of the Lord who has given to us. And these are the people who are going to take us back. So don't look at this only way to escape is our Guru Sadhu Shastra. So sadhus around us, and Guru's mercy and scriptures, they will remove this strong conditioning which we have. Thank you. Any other question or comments?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I'm Jayashri. It was a very beautiful lecture by Mataji. I just want one thing. The pain undergone in the womb is very nicely told, and people think, okay, we should not take rebirth because of the pain and all that. The same pain is undergone on the time of death also, is it?
Mataji, would you like to answer?
We didn't cover the pain that we go through the death, but like I heard in lecture, one of the lectures I read somewhere. So when scorpion, I think 40 or 60,000 of scorpions bite our body at the same time all around the body. So that much pain we go through because, general people, they go through because the attachment for the body and then people around us, people in that body.
What happens to consciousness? The pain is in the physical form. Maybe when the body is dead, it is you're trying to tell, okay, still you are undergoing pain. What about the consciousness? Consciousness also is there, or it is left our body?
Consciousness, the pain we feel in the mind, that mind is part of the subtle body. So the pain will be there in the mind also. I think Premdata Prabhu can add.
Yes, you are perfectly right. So, Mataji, the pain is through the mind. So, so mind is part of subtle body. So, mind, intelligence, and ego, that subtle body, along with the soul, goes to the next body. And I'm not sure if you were there in last week's session. So, there it was explained that, a soul, before getting the next body, the soul has to go through, various painful journeys through Naraklokas, and Yatna Sharir is given to us. We discussed that last week also. So the whatever is there in our subtle mind, or in our subtle body, mind, intelligence, and ego. So pain is not physical pain. Even if you see physically also, if a body is if a person coma, you cut his body and blood is oozing out, he will not realize the pain because the connection with the mind is there. That's a physical example. So same way, if the pain is actually through the mind. So the consciousness, as you are saying, that the soul will be going through the pain through the subtle body. The 45,000 scorpion biting a body simultaneously. And as Mataji said, that this is because of the soul, because of the attachment the soul gets to this body. So the mind is so much attached to this subtle body, so much attached to this physical body, that when the soul, Yamrajas are taking the soul out of this, then the pain is very, very, very high. So I don't know if that answers your question.
Because the last wish is fulfilled. This is what I got that. So I was thinking, if people are undergoing pain and the conscious is undergoing pain, that last wish, how does it carry over? I was.
So Rohini Mataji very rightly said that it is for the general people. For devotees, he doesn't have to go to this thing because he's in the remembrance of Krishna. That's why this whole practice of Krishna consciousness is required in whole life, because then the soul will be attached to the body and there is no pain. The pain, as Mataji said just now, this pain is because of the attachment of the soul to the body. So now this, if our consciousness is, what do you say, is grown, or like it's a elevated consciousness we have, Then devotees don't see. Many sadhus, they go, they so easily they go, they undergo, they leave their bodies. Many sannyasis in ISKCON, we have seen Kadam Kanan Swami Maharaj, Bhakti Tirth Maharaj, they have left just body, like going through they have cancer and those kind of things, and but they are very peacefully, they are living and remembering Krishna. So that pain is not there for a pure devotee of the Lord. So they will not go through the pain.
Okay, it is like every day we sleep, we get up.
Correct.
So that also came in. So I thought people talk about pain and all this. Okay, in the womb pain, I understood. So then this line also came that the night we sleep, the day we get up, is also like.
I don't know if it is experience with everybody, and I have many times that in the dreams, we will be very painful, something will be going on, and when we suddenly we get up, our body will be shaking, we'll be sweating, and we feel that pain.
Yes.
We were going through in the Prabhupada gives the example that somebody is lion is running behind, and so we will feel like, oh, lion is coming and eating me, and lion has eaten my head. That all we actually lion eaten the head. Then how am I alive? But still the dream is going, and then we realize that and in the dream, and same thing if we suddenly get up, many times we will be in tears and sweating and palpitations there, because all of the effect of the dream is there. It is something like that. So when the body will be leaving, same thing. Will like you are suddenly coming out of the dream, but still the pain will remain.
Yeah, and the pain or the bliss or the happiness, whatever we are seeing in the dreams. So I assume that for the devotees, it is such an experience even at the time of death.
Yes. For devotees, it's a pleasant experience.
Okay. Yes. Now I understand. Hare Krishna. Thank you
I
so
want-
much.
I want to share about like what I read, Prabhu, about the dream. So a dream is nothing but what we see, what we hear, and what we remember. The combination of these three things. Prabhupada was saying.
Yeah, our thoughts, what we see, the senses, all that is converted into dreams also. So if I am reading Krishna Katha, hearing to all this and sleeping, some days I see that like a huge universe and a big like expansion of Krishna coming in front of me. Then I wake up also and see. So sometimes like Prabhuji said, some disturbed sleep. So I assume it is also a kind of experience which happens, a good experience for us during the time of death also, for the devotees associated with Krishna consciousness, right?
That's why it is important that in the whole life whatever time we have, that's what this chapter is telling us, that we should spend our life in Krishna consciousness, so that this pain of death, pain of disease, pain of old age, we are unaffected. We cannot avoid them, but then we will not be go through the pain of that.
And we will come back to serve the lotus feet of.
Not come back, we'll go back.
No, it is like, we will go back and come back also. There is no, like yesterday in something I was, some lecture I can't get. So we are trying to go back. But the same thing is not in our hands. So again and again for the realization, we are coming back. This is what is happening.
Till we are fully purified, yes, we have to come back.
Yeah, for that is what this life we have to utilize
Sure.
in the service of Lord. Yes.
So wonderful question. Any other question anybody has? I think all those devotees who are planning to join Yatra, Kumbhakonam Yatra, they may have to book their tickets. So I think we should end
Sorry,
the
Prabhu, no
class now.
questions, but then I wanted to pass on my sincere appreciation and gratitude to Rohini Mataji for this wonderful class. Very beautifully explained, and the subtle topic. So, Mataji, very well done. In a lot of details. So, all our prayers and best wishes for your spiritual progress, and obviously Vinod Prabhu and the entire family. So all our prayers, Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.